it's Eternal Fight, and today I watched Wrestlemania 33, and I'm gonna talk to you about it. So I think there's no better way than to just get right into it. So I'll start with the pre-show. I'll get through it very quickly, so don't worry. I'll address the elephant in the room in just a minute or so. So Aries vs Neville. I thought it was a good match, as good as a cruiserweight Wrestlemania pre-show match could probably be. There are a few nice spots here and there. Overall, thoroughly enjoyed. Neville looks great. So did Aries. Hopefully Aries will win it at Payback. I'm all the way Aries on this one. Onto the Junk Royal Battle Royal. Won't lie to you, didn't watch it. Mojo Rawley won. Like, what's the point? What's the point? No point. Anyways, main show, Shane vs AJ. Better than I thought it would be. Nothing spectacular. I did like that Shane and AJ had the swapping of the spots, trying to both do the coast to coast. That was cool enough. And for the first match on the card, I couldn't really ask for that much more. But I do think that was probably the right match to kick off the show. And I probably would have had the ladder match, but for obvious reasons, you might want that in the middle of the show, not something to open it up. And I'll get to that in just a second. Second match, Kevin Owens vs Chris Jericho. I wasn't thoroughly disappointed by this match, but I was still disappointed. I feel there wasn't the brutality that I expected. There wasn't that show of emotion. It was much more of a wrestling-driven match and a story-driven one. And the story was one of the key elements to what was helping this match. And I just didn't see it. I enjoyed the match. Not a whole lot, but I enjoyed it. It was fine. So I'm happy enough with it. I'm happy enough. Of course, Owens winning. Great. He's the United States champion. Awesome. I'm trying to remember the card now. I believe the women's match was next. Oh yeah, I forgot Ambrose Corbin. Yeah. Again, didn't watch that. I'm kind of annoyed because I don't like Baron Corbin that much. But yeah, I just don't think there's any point in building a dude up and then just having him get beaten by Ambrose. But apparently the match sucked, so don't really care. Okay, the women's match was next. I was disappointed again. So I was expecting the same thing that we could see at Mania 33, all the finishes and signatures out on display, storytelling elements. Relations to people's pasts, their presents, what could happen in the future, tense last few minutes, and that wasn't on display here. I think that was because of the elimination stipulation and the amount of time they had to work with. So they made quick work of Nia Jax, but I guess the multi-man elimination and gang up beforehand protected her, which I'm fine with. And then you've also got, Sasha Banks being eliminated second to, what was it, a shove into a botched, exposed turnbuckle, like, what was that? And then Charlotte eliminated by a random elbow drop. It was like, it was obvious that they didn't care about the match in the same way that the fans cared about it. I'm fine with Bayley retaining, but I was wishing for something with a bit more spice. But that's just that match. And here it is. Sheamus and Cesaro versus Galanderson versus Enzo and Cass versus the Hardy Boyz. The Hardy Boyz. They are back in WWE in 2017. The moment couldn't have been done better. The New Day, probably the most over tag team in the company for casual fans right now, announcing, then going into the match and then misleading you into thinking that they were going to be in the match instead, and then the woo 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 and the delete chants beforehand. It could not have been done better. And then the Hardys won. Well, I mean, when they came out, it's not like they were losing. Of course, it's the freaking Hardys, so they won. Great. I'm really happy about that. But in 2017, the Hardy Boyz are the WWE Raw Tag Team Champions. That is so good to say. That feels amazing to say. It was brilliant. Just the moment itself, the pop that followed, just hearing their music just hearing their music, it was so surreal. Brilliant moment. John Cena and Nikki Bella versus The Miz and Maurice. John Cena won, then proposed to Nikki. I don't care, didn't watch the match. Like many people would watch the match if they were watching it. Like, look, I was under a time limit, okay, I probably would have watched it if it was live, but we didn't watch it live, and we watched it after school, and it was like 3 o'clock, and we had 3 hours to work with, so let's get the match. Solids, lads. I mean, I don't really have anything to say about it. I mean, the proposal itself, I'm guessing that was a fine moment, you know, no objections. I don't really care about the whole thing with Nikki and John. I feel that The Miz and Maurice could have utilised the victory more, but, you know, oh well, that sucks. Nevertheless, let's just get on to the next match. Seth Rollins versus Triple H. A lot of people liked it. I'm not one of those people. I'm not one of those people. I don't actually know what it physically was. But I don't know what it was. I think it was just the slow work rate. You know what I mean? Like, I just really wasn't into it, to be quite frank with you. I was expecting, it was just like Owens Jericho, I was expecting a brutal brawl, and then Rollins just kind of got worked on, and then would have brief intermissions where he'd be like, yeah, I'm fighting back, and then they just go back to Triple H working the leg again, and then Triple H would work the leg some more, and then there was the bit where they kind of hit each other with chairs a bit, then Triple H got the sledgehammer and never used it, and they started swapping with the pedigrees. This is where things started to get interesting, and then they just cut the match's feet from underneath it, and then Triple H just lost to a single pedigree. It was very boring in the first 10 to 15 minutes, and then the last 10 were just like, I don't know, it could have done more. It could have done more, and it wasn't the lack of time that was the issue. I think to be honest, it was maybe even the lack of effort. Neither guy looked like they were really into the match, and for some reason or other, I don't know, because it's a really good feud that they have built, but the match, I don't know, just the crowd was cold throughout. I wasn't into it personally. Didn't tickle my taint, to quote Jim Cornette, but yeah, that's what happened. I have a few complaints, but hey, you know, what are you gonna do? I mean, Triple H isn't as good as he used to be, and Rollins is good. I thought he'd get a good performance out of Triple H, but I was disappointed. Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt. Didn't watch it. Randy Orton won the title. I hate it. Goodbye. Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. So the bit before the match where Goldberg speared Lesnar through the barricade, or at least I believe that's what happened, because I didn't really watch the whole thing. We didn't intend to watch the match because we knew it'd be short, but we did end up watching it, and it was like 5 minutes. But I think as what it was meant to do, I don't really have any objections. Both guys look great. Like Lesnar looks especially great, toppling Goldberg, like finally. Heyman cut a killer promo before the match, and then he hit the 10 suplexes and then the F5. Maybe if Goldberg had kicked out and then maybe taken a second F5 or something, that would have been alright, because statistically speaking, Goldberg is weaker than Roman Reigns, because Reigns kicked out of like 5 F5s or something. But hey, whatever, you know, fine, whatever, don't care about Goldberg that much, to be honest with you. But I'm happy that, you know, it was the right result, and Brock Lesnar as the Universal Champion is fine. I'll probably just drop it to Reigns next year, but oh well, don't care. So then we moved to the six-pack challenge. Apparently it was a fine match, as I said. I didn't say it, but this is another match that I didn't watch. And then Naomi just kind of won. Hey! That was it. Like, no big returns, no Kelly, no Maria, not even Tamina, like nothing. And then Naomi just kind of won, and that was it. Like, I don't know. It wasn't my thing. And then Roman Reigns versus Mark Spooks the Ghost Lad, The Undertaker. So, yeah. I didn't know it was a no-holds-barred match beforehand, so I went in with relatively fine expectations. Then they announced that it would be, and my hopes were instantly heightened. Undertaker is one of the best of all time, and Roman Reigns can get great matches out of people. One of my favourite matches of 2016 was Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles. One of my favourite matches of 2015 was Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. However, even against The Undertaker in the main spot of WrestleMania, this match fell short. It didn't really feel as such like a match. It felt like a different series of spots. Like, you had the choke slam onto the announce table, you had the choke slam onto the chair, you had the tombstone that Reigns somehow kicked out of, you had the spear through the announce table, which was alright. But as main event, like, Mania worthy, it wasn't. Like, that... I understand why they put it in the main spot. Of course, Taker losing, hanging up the boots, as they say. It makes sense. It makes sense why it be in the main event spot, but with such a dud match, like, the match ran cold. The crowd were not into it. I just didn't really feel at all excited, really, for that many matches this Mania. And there were no great matches. There just wasn't a really, like, great match. Like, SummerSlam, you had Balor versus Rollins and AJ versus Cena. You had those two marquee matches, which once you left the show, you left with a smile on your face because of what you'd just seen. I watched Mania 33 today, and there wasn't a single match I could say I could remember in 2 years' time and go, oh yeah, I remember how good that was. I remember a certain moment from this match. Like, the only innovative thing, really, about the show was maybe the pop-up powerbomb into the code breaker. That was nice. Then the Hardys coming back, and that insane spot with Jeff Swanton bombing off the 25-foot ladder that we haven't seen in so long now. It was great. It was great. Everyone's gonna hate me for this, but despite being 11 minutes, I think the tag team ladder match was the best of the night. Honestly, I don't see what people saw in Triple H versus Seth Rollins. I think there wasn't enough manipulation of the crowd. That sympathy for Rollins just wasn't present. But okay, I better get back to Roman Reigns versus Undertaker. Okay, so now Undertaker's retired. Like, he's over, he's done. He took the gloves off, he took the hat off, he took the jacket off. It's all laying in a heap in the ring. It's very clear that Undertaker, he's done. He's very much done. And they did it in the most boring way possible, probably. The match in the first 10 minutes was fine. That's when it was alright. But then, that last 5 minutes, where it was kind of after the first tombstone, because the main issue of the match really was that Reigns dominated way too much, so that leaves Taker looking very weak. So Taker got in a tombstone, nothing more. If you'd maybe had Reigns kick out of 2-3 tombstones, I would have been much more into the match. It would have been tense, it would have been so much less one-sided, but it just wasn't as dramatic, it wasn't as tense as it needed to be, and I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed by probably every match on the show, ultimately. And of course, the big elephant in the room, Roman Reigns beat The Undertaker clean at WrestleMania. Fine, whatever, like, at least he didn't beat the actual streak. Like, Taker's not even nearly as strong as he used to be in 2008, 2009. In 2011 is where things started to go downhill. That's when it was sort of like, okay, Taker's getting older now. And now we're at that stage where instead of saying, oh, Taker's getting older now, Taker has got old, and it's fitting that he'd stop wrestling here. They did it in a great way, and of course, losing to the other guy is probably what should have happened. But now, The Undertaker has lost to two dudes. Two people at WrestleMania. And that's how they're going to market Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 34. That's how they're going to market that. Just for those that don't know, there's a rumour from a very credible source. He's a guy called Dave Meltzer. And he's saying apparently that the main event of WrestleMania 34 is going to be Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns again. So, yeah, I don't want it. No one wants it, but, you know. They're going to market it as the two guys that beat Taker, which I'm fine with, I guess. I mean, they've already both beaten him, so you might as well. But if they'd just done it rather than, oh no, Taker kicked out, and then, oh no, Taker kicked out again, and then just hit him with the third spear. Or was it fourth? I can't remember. I think it was like the fourth spear or something, and then that just being it. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like, if Taker had gotten some offense between some of those spears, I would have been much more into the match. The match would have really, really excited me. But it didn't. Every match on the card for me fell short, and I expected much more of the biggest show of the year. Probably every match that I looked forward to disappointed. Owens Jericho was too short. Same applies for the women's match, and also the lack of people being eliminated by finishes. Like Triple H versus Seth Rollins, it was very slow, and I wasn't into it. Same applies for Roman Reigns versus Undertaker. Roman Reigns versus Undertaker and Seth Rollins versus Triple H are very similar, in that they could have been done in a much more intriguing way, but they went with the most safe option, and both had very slow work rates and a similar runtime. So, overall, I'll give WrestleMania 33 a 4 or 5 out of 10. I was disappointed. I was disappointed, I was left empty, I was left with a very bad taste in my mouth, with Roman Reigns beating The Undertaker clean at WrestleMania. I might start watching Raw. Well, I probably would if the Hardys weren't there, which is going to be the most compelling thing about Raw week to week. Watch that happen, by the way. But, yeah, didn't like the show as much as other people did. Adam Blompier likes it way too much. Way too much, man. No, it's not one of the best Manias, like, ever. Like, I don't know. Every single Mania has some match that you're going to remember for the next few years. With 32, you had that insane ladder match and the women's match for the ages. With 31, you had Sting versus Triple H and that ladder match right in the beginning. And even Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns was pretty freaking good as well, and people are going to remember that because that match was good as well. 30 had Daniel Bryan versus Batista and Randy Orton, and Daniel Bryan versus Triple H to kick off the show. Even 30 and 31 had those matches we are still going to remember for quite a while. Like 29, well, it wasn't the best event. At least it had Roxanne that we're going to remember. We're going to remember Roman Reigns versus Undertaker, but for all the wrong reasons, and quite frankly, I didn't like this show very much. It's a wrestling show? Cool. Like, solid maybe 6 or 7 out, okay, 6 out of 10. There was more to do, but it was good. Like, they could have done it much worse. But then, coupled in with, or like, what it could have been, and the fact that it's the biggest show of the year, and the storylines going into some of the matches compared to how the matches were, I'm gonna rate it a 4. So, 4 out of 10 from me. I've been Eternal Fight, and that was my first formal review, apart from like TakeOver San Antonio, of a wrestling event. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to leave your comments disagreeing with me in the comments section, and I'll see you in a later video. Ciao.